Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also, check our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. Also, download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also, on Anchor FM, and watch the interview on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube. You can also download the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device and just take us with you wherever you go. Again, that's the Mike Wagner Show, MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with a wonderful author from Santa Barbara, California. She's the author of a brand new book, My Random Death, published by Insight Institute Press. It was released on June 1st, available at myrandomdeath.com and also other outlets as well, too. Just tells about a great story about what happened and what how it came about, and just used everything possible. And of course, we're not going to give it all away, so we're going to just just let this wonderful lady tell you about it. She's now a federal criminal appeals attorney who's handled a number of cases, and also hand bookbinder, paper store, martial artist, and a reader and teacher of Tarot and Kabbalah. So without further ado, just packing everything in and still getting some time to talk about a great book. Ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful Santa Barbara, California, Myra Mossman. Myra, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Great. Okay, so you're the author of the book, My Random Death, published by Insight Institute Press, which was released on June 1st and available at myrandomdeath.com and also on other available outlets as well, too. You can talk about that. You've got on the website. You also got legal practice. You also do tarot and Kabbalah, and you got a great story to tell about the book. Before we get into all that, tell us how you got started.
Well, it's my memoir. So it was, I didn't write the book out of vanity. I wanted to express this real story that happened that has multiple layers of consciousness and a lot of premonitions and unusual, out of the ordinary aspects of our everyday world. And there was a lot of spiritual directions after this incident. I was left for dead and I gave up to death. Obviously, I'm here. And it was a transformational moment for me. And so I'm here to talk about it.
That was amazing, too. And what was your motivation for writing your memoir?
There was I had an opportunity to write it because I was taking a sabbatical from my federal criminal appeals practice. I have been doing it for 13 years, and I had an opportunity to write. And it took me 4 years to write this memoir, and now I'm marketing it. And I just wanted to express to people, because the circumstances of the Me Too movement was very timely. There was aspects of my story when I was left for dead, and then I was taken to, I was brought into a cottage, and the police were called, and I didn't know if if I would be believed. And so this is an opportunity to talk about this now. And also, I was given divine directives that I had to master. It took me 40 years to master those directives, and you listed them.
And of course, it was amazing, too. You can talk about some of the directives as well, too. And how do they come about as well?
It actually came to me. I was left for dead. I came back into consciousness, and then I found my way back to the cottage. My boyfriend at the time came out to meet me. He had heard sounds. He didn't know if it was human or animal, and he met me on this pathway. He carried me into the cottage and he laid me down. He called the state troopers, and there was one that came to the police on Martha's Vineyard Island, and one came to the cottage within 5 minutes. He interviewed me, and then an ambulance came, and in the ambulance I was given these 5 divine directives. Moved to and it just came like a revelation. All at once.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Move to the other side of the continent, learn a metaphysics, which a lot got me into the tarot, learn about martial arts, learn about meaningful coincidence, and learn how to meditate. 10 years later, I was given another divine directive to become a lawyer. And it took me 40 years to gain some mastery of all of these areas because I was an initiate at the beginning. I didn't know nothing about these areas of discipline.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing too. Now, you talk about being skilled on martial art, and what did you study when it comes to martial arts?
I was trained in karate and Ishiryu, Goshuryu style karate. And then I studied in Taekwondo for 3 years and I got my black belt in Taekwondo. And then I moved into more lethal styles. So Jiu-Jitsu and Kuksu Wan, where I trained in maybe 6 years of those. And so I trained for about 12 years total. I'm sorry, maybe 9 years of the Jiu-Jitsu and Taekwondo and practicing. And so I practiced for about 12 years and trained, and now I train on my own.
That is amazing too, and we'll talk more about the book as well too, and your other experiences. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page, Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube. Watch the video and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with the author of the book, My Random Death by Myra Mossman, published by Insight Institute Press, which was released June 1st and available at myrandomdeath.com. And also you talked about, some of the things you take about the journey and everything else. And, starting with like the first directive, move to the other side of the continent, and maybe just a little bit detail on how that happened and, what kind of force was used about move to the other side of the continent.
Well, I was in the hospital for 4 days and then I healed. It took me about 3 weeks. And then me and my boyfriend, Victor, at that time, he was my fiance, and that was in 1978, and we're still friends to today.
Mm-hmm.
We just went to Martha's Vineyard, got the truck that we had left there, and drove to California, straight across the United States, and then up from California into Vancouver. I have dual citizenship, and we settled in Vancouver. So I had doing the move also involved giving up a job opportunity in Lawrence, Massachusetts. I felt I was compelled to fulfill that divine directive right away. And so the reason why I was in Martha's Vineyard was because Vic's family has a cottage and a house there. And we stayed there for a vacation before I was going to a job interview in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Instead, I got killed. I got murdered. And so when I came back to life and healed, I didn't go to the job interview. I fulfilled that first divine directive and moved to the other side of the continent.
And what was that job for at that time?
At the time I was a bookbinder, hand bookbinder and paper restorer, and it was at the New England Documentation Center. It would have been fascinating because they would have held a lot of the very early documents of this country, of the United States.
Amazing.
Yes. So, but I gave that up to fulfill that first directive.
And was it part when it came to bookbinding? Was it like all about the 13 counties, how New England came about and everything? And maybe can you recall, like, what were some of the things that was like in those books as well too that people didn't know about? Sounds like fascinating history nobody knows.
Well, it was actually a center, New England Documentation Center. So it's a building that houses a number of paper restorers working on these documents and books and flat work. So just flat documents. I went back there years later and visited as a guest and visited the New England Documentation Center. I was very grateful for them.
That is amazing too. And of course, I can imagine as well too, just preserving all this history as well too. And of course, this just came up as well too. When you were killed, you were going through this experience, and maybe I don't know if a lot of people have this sense that after you're dead, you go through this motions and everything, and all of a sudden you come back to life. And people have described it vividly. And what were some of the things you recall vividly during that time?
I let go into death. And prior to that moment, I had been very lucid. I had been a number of premonitions. So I was very lucid. The man was strangling me, straddling me, and strangling me in the woods on Martha's Vineyard. I was exhausted, and I didn't at the time know how to fight him. And I let go into death. And an incredible peace came over me. Prior, I was thinking, what is death? What is God? Where is God? Where is Buddha? Where is Jesus? Where is Muhammad? Where are all the great gods? And I'm in the woods. I felt alone. But when I let go into death, I felt I was going to a place of no more fear, no more worry, no more doubt. And this incredible peace came over me. And then there was darkness. And I had no concept of my body. And then I heard a voice. It was my voice. And it was talking to my murderer. You're not going to get away with this. You're not going to get away with this. And I believe that was part of the force that drew me back into life. And I saw visions of white fire on black fire, of squares. And it was almost like the opposite of egg unfolding. It was moving in geometric regression or arithmetic regression. So let's say 100 of these squares were then imploding into 26. And then, 96, and then 92, and then we became one shiny square in my mind's eye. The voice said, now. And I broke into everyday consciousness. I saw light. I heard the birds. I could smell the earth. And then I got afraid because I couldn't see him. I couldn't see my murderer. And I thought, he will kill me again. I won't be able to come back. I got fear entered me and doubt entered me. I thought, the police aren't going to believe me. They're going to laugh at me. And like the farmer's daughter jumping out of the haystack in the farm barnyard, half naked, these jokes were coming to my mind. Although I wasn't laughing, I thought people would laugh at me. And this gets you right back into the Me Too movement, that you're not going to be believed. Right. And they couldn't investigate. And they wouldn't find my murderer, and he would murder again. And so, thank you for asking.
Wow, that was something. Now, if you were to encounter the same person like today, what would you say to him right now?
I would want to know why he left me for dead. I want to tell you something. One of the premonitions that I had the day before this incident, I was walking on up these famous cliffs in Martha's Vineyard, and I saw this van, and we had just bought in a truck, Victor and me, and so I noticed this really shiny van, and next to it was this man. I just saw the back of him, the back of him, and I said, that's an evil man, to Victor. The next day, that was the van that drove by me, and that was the man that attacked me. I sensed his evilness, and I would ask him what was in what. I speculated what he was doing. I speculated that he was a stalker and he had been to the island purposely to find someone. But I was speculating, and so I would ask him, why did he attack me? Why did he leave me for dead?
That sounds amazing. I wouldn't say amazing, but it's something. I have to say that I'm a loss for words. And of course, you wonder why people would come out of random to do so. So,
I wanted to say something, Mike. He was married. He had a child.
Wow.
Yes, he was a family man. He was on the island with his brother.
And that is amazing. And did they ever say what was the motive behind this? Was it a random or something like psychologically went wrong?
When the police interviewed me, I was very calm at the time because I was alive. And the police officer came into the cottage, and my but in this struggle with this evil man, my top came off, my bra came off. And so when I was lying on the couch, the police officer put his coat over me. And he said to me, "Why are you so calm?" He was sort of upset. He says, "Most women that go through what you've been through are in such a state of shock. They won't let a man near them. And so we can't even get the information. Why are you so calm?" See, already he was suspicious of me. I thought he wouldn't believe me. So I didn't tell him about the premonitions. I didn't tell him I saw the evil man.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they investigate. Then I wanted him to investigate this, and they there was conflicting information about his background. I lay this out in the memoir, my memoir, My Random Death. They offered me no motive. He was held at the Sexually Dangerous Institute in Massachusetts, only for the specific reason because the judge at the time wanted to see if he was fit to stand trial. He was charged with attempted murder, attempted rape, and assault and battery. And they wanted to know if he was fit to stand trial. It's a determination that happens before you go to trial, just to see if he's going to understand the charges against him. And so he was sent to the Sexually Dangerous Institute at Bridgewater. This is usually a 2-week determination. He was held for 6 months. I can't get the records. I have no idea, but so I can speculate. And because of my legal background, I eventually became a criminal appeals attorney. I can speculate as to why they were evaluating him and some of his background.
Wow, that is something as well too. We'll talk about your other definitive directives as well too, and how led to this. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show, the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website with a break-even budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also, check our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, watch the interview on YouTube and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube. And also take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with the author of My Random Death, Myra Mossman, who's got the book out right now, published by Insight Institute Press, which was released on June 1st, available at myrandomdeath.com. And, before we get to the other definitives, where else can they purchase the book? I think I forgot to ask that.
You know what, Mike, you read my mind. I was actually just going to say that. It's amazing. You read my mind, Mike. I was going to follow up and say you can get this on Amazon, at Barnes & Nobles. You can get this other AB books. There's other book. You can request it at your local bookstore. They can order it for you. So this is good, Mike.
You know what? And I think that's part of the, definitive directive. And I think, I wasn't trying to read your mind that way, but you have another skill. Maybe reading my mind can be like number 7 or something. But the second one was learn to meditate. You can just tell us about the second definitive directive.
The meditation was a call to meditate, to learn to understand layers of consciousness and to quiet the chattering mind, the mind that talks about how it doesn't like ourselves and says bad things to us, or just the chattering mind that gossips, and so we can get to what the wisdom traditions call the wee small voice in us. That is the knowing voice, the voice of knowledge and intuition, and this intuition can really be a guiding force. And so, if you're not in touch with that inner universe, your own inner universe, you might not hear that voice. And that voice can now, the voice of intuition can marry the outer world of what's called meaningful coincidences, those non-casual circumstances.
I was just going to get to that definitive as well, too. And you cover that meaningful coincidence. And I think you cover that. If you want to talk more about that, that's fine. And also the other one is becoming skilled at a martial art. You talked about that for a little bit, but what led you to Taekwondo and some of the other martial arts?
I studied karate. It was just convenient for initially because there was a very good school half a block from where I lived. And I liked the kicking aspects of it. And so when I had to change cities, I eventually left Vancouver and went to Ottawa to work at the Public Archives of Canada,
Mm,
doing paper restoration. Um, they didn't have this type of karate there, so I started working in Taekwondo because it's also a kicking, uh, specialist in kicking. But
right.
then I wanted to learn more lethal styles, more street fighting, more actual and weapons. And so then I started working with jiu-jitsu in Harlem with Little John Davies and Kuk So Wan in Toronto. So,
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And of course, I was going to have you do some moves, but, probably not right now. That'll be for another time. And also, the other definitive directive came 10 years later when you were called to be a lawyer. Just tell us all about that.
it was an interesting moment because I was teaching a martial arts fitness program and had some private clients. And just to boost that income from time to time, I worked as a temp service as a receptionist or some office work, like just for 2 days or one day every now and then. And so I had an opportunity, and it's particularly in the winter, because, excuse me, in the summer, a lot of people left the city. And so I had a job for a temp job for a lawyer. He was supposed to be out all day, and his receptionist was supposed to be out. And he was a criminal attorney. He called me up and said, Myra, I'm coming back to the office. Court got canceled all day. It was quite unusual. But the night before this incident, I was up at my friend's house, visiting a roommate, a housemate in the attic because I wanted to get some hash. In
Hmm.
Canada, I was smoking hash a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And while I was waiting for her, I noticed this book of affirmations. And I picked it up. I flipped through the page, closed my eyes, and then opened it to one affirmation. It said, today is no ordinary today. You will make a decision.
Mm.
Today you will make a decision. It's no ordinary decision. It's a type of decision that leads men into battles and nations are created. It's like, wow. It was supposed to be a book of love affirmations. And so when the next morning or that morning, when the attorney came back to his office and we started talking, we talked about a half hour at the reception's desk. And then he called me into his office. He says, Myra, have you ever thought of becoming a lawyer? I said, never. He says, I sit on the board of admissions at the University of Toronto. It's the best law school in Canada. I could get you in. So I remembered that affirmation. And I said, this is the decision that I have to make. And so that day I decided to write my LSATs
Hmm.
and start doing the process to go to law schools and start applying. And of course I called him once I wrote the LSATs and my admissions were ready to go. I never heard from him, and I got into law school on my own merits. I didn't
Nice.
with his help.
That is very nice too. And of course, you also took some time off to write the book as well too.
Correct. And I just want to say one thing. I went to in my search for applications to law schools, I found that University of Windsor and University of Detroit had a joint law degree program where I could get a law degree in Canada and a law degree in the United States. And I
Interesting.
chose to go, you had to take extra courses and go through in the summer and get all your semesters had to be pre-approved courses and you had to get a certain grade point average. But I decided that's what I wanted to do.
Hmm. And,
Now I
and
have
of
to.
course, and of course, being licensed in the U.S. and also in Canada, through Detroit and Windsor, being a lawyer as well too. How many lawyers that are dual attorneys when it comes to Canadian and U.S. law?
The ones in my class that graduated through the program, and it was a very successful program. At the time, it was the only one in North America. And it gave me the interesting thing is that we could not cite to American law in Britain in Canada. It was not authoritative, except there's one area in real estate law where the wife was considered chattel or but we could cite to British law, but American law had no authority. And so I thought that was interesting. Although you think there's similars, but you're looking at two different legal systems, particularly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very interesting.
And what do you find the difference between like Canada law and U.S. law? Like, say, just pick a few things out. What's easier, what's more difficult, mind blowing, and everything else. Or like your case, what have been much more difficult or much easier?
Two things I would say. At the time, when I was working at the Public Archives of Canada, Canada didn't have its own constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was under the British North American Act. And when I was working at the Public Archives, Pierre Trudeau, Justin Trudeau's father, who was Prime Minister at the time, brought that British North American Act to Canada.
Uh-huh.
And we were in the process of creating our own constitution. And so the legal system was very different. How you make legal arguments was different. You didn't make constitutional arguments in Canada. You made ultra vires or acting out of your head of authority. And so that was different. Another thing that was different was in the United States, it has a lot of its laws are codified. And they also have a lot of cliff notes to help students. In Canada, they had none of those. None of the law. The only thing that was codified was maybe the penal code. Not
Peanut code?
The penal code, the criminal code.
Oh, penal code. I'm sorry.
Yes. And so you had to look through everything you had to look through case law. There was also no cliff notes. Nothing helped the students. So it was a little different.
Mm-hmm. And do you think of Canada law, do you think the guy who murdered you for dead, but come back to hire, do you think they would have tried him differently, like harshly or lenient, or how do you think that would have applied?
That's an interesting question, Mike. That's a very interesting question. I don't know. Maybe the plea bargaining system would have been different. I'm not sure. It happened in the state of Massachusetts, and actually the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So I don't know if they would have processed it differently. I'm just wondering how they would have applied the plea bargaining, maybe in that capacity, because he eventually he pled guilty to the lesser offense, the assault and battery.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing too. I just love hearing about your stories and everything else. We'll talk about how meaningful coincidences come into play, and also how people can achieve just harmony and peace based on your experiences. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking a budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also on Facebook at Facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. Download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, in YouTube as well, too. You can watch the Mike Wagner Show and subscribe. Also on Facebook and Anchor FM, and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with the author of My Random Death by Myra Mossman. That's out right now on June 1st, and she had mentioned where you can get the book. And of course, things always coming together as well, too, like with meaningful coincidences where everything just comes together. So maybe you can just tell us a little bit about how everything just comes into play according to your book.
Well, this is the part about where intuition actually comes into play, so that you can notice when something is coincidental. So Carl Jung coined the term synchronicity, and he took those coincidences to another level, and it's about meaningful coincidences, these non-causal happenings that occur that mirrors something going on in our inner universe with an outer happening. And we have to pay attention to these because, like I said before, they're guideposts into how we can better develop ourselves. And at a minimum, it will help us gain confidence in ourselves, and by trusting our intuition and by noticing these occurrences. And that is very important to people to, we live in a society where lack of self-esteem and lack of confidence can be one of the most detrimental and debilitating aspects of life. And so once we gain trust in ourselves and trust our intuition, that's where confidence is the core of our confidence, and we can draw from that. And I think that's important to surviving today.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is to have the intuition, the intention to do something, even if it's to find a way when you know no way. And trusting in our intuition will help us notice these coincidences. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people notice their favorite number shows up. That's an easy way for them to relating to coincidences. But let's get deeper with it and ask, why is it showing up now?
Mm-hmm.
And then the most synchronistic, meaningful coincidence can be totally transformational. Like what happened to me, it totally transformed my life. The coincidence of seeing the evil man the day before. There was a number of other instances that I talk about in the book. These transformational moments, it means your whole life is altered. From then on, it's completely different.
And it's all associated by numbers as well, too. That is amazing.
Well, sometimes numbers is an easy way, right? Like if you have a favorite number, Mike, and it shows up,
Mm-hmm.
people can relate to that coincidence of that.
Right. Yes.
But then there's deeper and more important aspects to meaningful coincidences.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you talked about synchronicity as well, too. Of course, I'm not referring to the Police album, by the way, but how can people invite or increase synchronicity into their lives?
One is noticing it. Two is so being conscious of their own intuitions when something arises, and noticing if you just the quickening inside of you, or if you get an idea, if it's just a flash in your mind, if it just lasts even for a second, pay attention. And if you're the type of person that is a visual person, you might want to write these out, because then you'll start to notice the patterns in your life. And so the key is to be in touch with your internal universe and pay attention to what's going on around you. Don't always just be in your head, in your own internal dialogues and talking to yourself about what you think, how angry you are at your boyfriend because he said this and this, and reliving old bad stories. So it's part of it's paying attention to being present moment.
That is amazing, too. And of course, basically after reading this book, what is the ultimate goal you want people to accomplish?
I think it's to trust themselves, to learn to have confidence in themselves. And then the key that I found about death is that we're going to a place of no more fear, no more doubt, no more worry. And that's a beautiful place to be in. That's an exciting time. And so, of course, death brings the loneliness of someone leaving your physicality, but the opportunity to be in that state of, I guess other cultures call it bliss.
Uh-huh.
I call it no more fear, no more doubt, no more worry.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in a learning stage. We're excited.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing as well, too. And who do you consider your mentors or guides when it comes to writing this book?
One of my guides was, although he was fiction, was Raymond Chandler.
Uh-huh.
I read a lot of his books to get my frame. And although my book is a memoir, it's true. I wanted it to tell it in a storytelling fashion. And I like film noir. That's my genre in movies. And so I used Chandler as a muse. And I also used Eliana Ferrante. Although I really didn't like her story, I liked her ability to get in touch with her emotions and to express that. And she gave me the freedom to not be afraid, to share some of the dark sides. And that was key, I think, to writing so that people can relate.
That is amazing, too. And you talked about film noir, and what are some of your favorite films that you watched as well in that genre?
Well, in the genre is, I've watched all of them. And so my favorite movie actually isn't in the film noir genre. It's like a film noir. It's Hitchcock's Rear Window. I've seen it, although it's in color. I've seen it like over 30 times, and as recently as in June. And the other ones is Anatomy of a Murder, um, 39 Steps, a number of Hitchcock's black and whites that he did, even his earlier ones, Murder. I got lots of film noir favorites.
It's okay. You can take your time as well, too. And of course, you had your own unique writing style. And who do you consider your favorite writers as well?
I guess Arthur Conan Doyle, because I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. Though it's a bit wordy and a little bit, cumbersome these days. I like Holmes. He's a mentor to me, and I read a lot of nonfiction, so and case law. So just being clear, being concise, trying to express myself, and I don't like authors that are too detailed into things that are really not relevant or important.
Uh-huh.
Pay attention to people that are more concise.
That is amazing. That's something to keep in mind, too. And, of course, just a couple more minutes. We know you're very busy. You've just been fantastic via Myra. And who do we talked about your biggest influence, and what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Don't believe the bad things that you're saying to yourself. The words that we say to ourselves can be make the world so difficult. Try to learn to trust and love yourself. And it's not the goal, it's the process. Just love the way you're getting to where you want to be. Enjoy the day, every day, and the little things. Make every day a little goal in completing something. But it's the process that matters. I've had a lot of teachers. I've done a lot of things, but it's being involved with doing the best you can, having your integrity. And I live in a world of no excuses. It's a lot about discipline. You cannot be a procrastinator.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, procrastination, you can't do it tomorrow, the next day as well. So I know how it goes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. I just want to say, Myra, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much for your time. Once again, just tell us about your book, author of once again, My Random Death by Myra Mossman, published by Insight Institute Press. It's been released June 1st. And tell everybody where can they find the book at?
Well, you could find it on the web. The website will link you to Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. It's My Random Death. It's my memoir, released June 1st. And you can also call your local bookstore. They'll order it for you. You can get it at AB Books. There's also an ebook available. You can get it on Kindle. And so Barnes and other people have other ebooks available. We're selling it in Britain and everywhere in Europe, and it's a global distribution. So it shouldn't be hard to find.
Okay, that's great, too. And also, what's your website and how do people contact you?
It's myrandomdeath.com. And you can go on there and if you want to send me an email, Myra Mossman at myrandomdeath.com. You can send me an email as well. And we'd love to hear from you. And thank you very much for this opportunity, Mike, and all the great questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Myra, as well, too. And looking forward to having you on again soon. And definitely keep us up to date. Look forward to having you on again. You've been fantastic.
Thank you so much, Mike. Bye-bye. You too. Bye-bye.